Everyone aspires to reach the top of the mountain, but few acknowledge the rough terrain you must navigate with your bare hands to catch a glimpse of the summit. You see the dazzling lights, feel the bass shaking the stadium floor, and spot a young talent like Leon Burns, known as Kida the Great, standing in the intense spotlight next to the cultural icon, Kendrick Lamar. It appears magical, as if it all happened overnight. However, if you're on the streets of Sacramento, where the atmosphere feels unique and the hustle is the only language spoken, you understand the reality. This wasn't merely a performance. It wasn't just a backup dancer earning a paycheck. It was a fusion of two worlds, a moment where the streets met the stage, as if destiny was finally aligning with talent. When Kida stood on the Grand National Tour, gazing at thousands of enthusiastic fans, he wasn't just representing himself. Welcome to celebrity rap life, where the red carpets never roll up and the spotlight never fades. The rewards are legendary. Because in celebrity rap life, every downfall can become a comeback, and every headline tells a deeper story. Hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss a second of what's coming next. He embodied the hopes of every kid who practiced their dance moves in a garage until their bodies ached, every dreamer told that dancing was merely a pastime, and every individual from the 916 who needed to realize that the world extended beyond their neighborhood. The real story begins in the silence before the music starts. You must grasp the essence of a Kendrick Lamar tour. It's not just a concert, it's a theatrical event, a profound piece of art that demands excellence. Kendrick doesn't simply hire performers to fill the stage. He seeks individuals with spirit. He looks for those who move as if they have something to prove, who can express the pain and triumph of the lyrics through their movements. So when Kida received the news that he would be part of the Grand National Tour, it wasn't just an invitation, it was a call to the big leagues. Kida had been an internet sensation for years, winning competitions and captivating millions with his dance battles. But this was different. This was the peak, being selected by someone many regard as the greatest rapper alive to help convey his story. Imagine the nerves. You're young, you're hungry, and suddenly you're in rehearsals with the best in the business. The air in those rehearsal spaces is thick. It smells like sweat and floor wax, and the energy is so high you can practically feel the static electricity on your skin. Kida is a master of movement, a guy who can make his body look like it's breaking and mending itself in the same breath. But even for him, the scale of this was massive. He had to learn the language of the tour, the way Kendrick moves, the way the light hits the stage at a specific second. If you're off by an inch, the whole illusion breaks. But Kida isn't the type to fold under pressure. He's a product of the streets, and on the streets, you learn to adapt or you get left behind. He took that Sacramento grit and poured it into every pop, every lock, and every slide. He wasn't just dancing, he was storytelling. As the tour kicked off, the reality of the situation started to sink in. We're talking city after city, hotel after hotel, and the kind of exhaustion that gets deep into your bones. But when that curtain rises and the first note hits, all that fatigue vanishes. Kida described it as an out-of-body experience. One night you're in a quiet room, and the next you're hearing 20,000 people roar when you hit a specific move. He wasn't just a background player. People were noticing him. They were seeing that specific fluid style that only Kida has. That way he flows like water but hits like a hammer. He was bringing a flavor to the stage that complemented Kendrick's intensity. It was like watching a conversation between a poet and a painter, except the paint was movement and the canvas was the stage. The bond between the performers on a tour like that becomes like family. But there's a special kind of respect that grows between the lead artist and the people who help bring the vision to life. Kendrick saw the work Kida was putting in. He saw the discipline. It's one thing to be talented, but it's another thing to be a professional. Kida was showing up early, staying late, and perfecting the nuances that most people wouldn't even notice. He was a student of the game, even while he was playing it at the highest level. That's the secret sauce. That's why he stayed relevant while so many others flicker out like a cheap candle. He never lost that hunger. He never acted like he had arrived, even when he was literally standing on the biggest stage in the world. Then came the moment of reflection. After the lights dimmed on the final show and the gear was being packed away, Kida took a second to breathe. He looked back at the journey from the battle circles to the Grand National Tour. He felt the weight of the gratitude. It wasn't just about the fame or the followers. It was about the fact that Kendrick Lamar, a man who moves with such purpose, saw something in him. Kida took to his platform to send a real, heartfelt message out into the world. He didn't use big, flashy words. He kept it street. He kept it honest. He thanked Kendrick for the opportunity, but it was more than a thank you. It was an acknowledgement of a door being opened. He talked about how much he learned, how much he grew, and how that experience changed the way he looks at his own art. He spoke about the atmosphere of the tour, the way the whole crew pushed each other to be better every single night. There were no egos, just a shared mission to give the fans something they would never forget. For Kida, being part of the Grand National Tour was like going to the most intense university on the planet. He watched how Kendrick handled the pressure, how he stayed grounded despite being a global icon, and how he never compromised on his vision. That rubbed off on Kida. It made him realize that being a great isn't just a title you give yourself. It's a standard you have to live up to every time you step out of your house. People in the industry started looking at Kida differently after that. He wasn't just the dance kid anymore. He was a seasoned performer who had held his own next to a giant. The streets were buzzing. In Sacramento, he became a symbol of what's possible. You see, when someone from the neighborhood makes it that far, it breaks the ceiling for everyone else. It proves that the moves you're practicing on the sidewalk can actually take you across the globe. Kida knew that. He knew he was carrying the hopes of his city on his shoulders, and he wore that responsibility with pride. He didn't change who he was. He just leveled up the platform he was standing on. The most shocking part of the whole journey for Kida was how fast it all felt. When you're in the middle of a tour, time bends. You lose track of what day it is or what city you're in. All that matters is the next set, the next beat, the next moment of connection with the crowd. But when it was over, the silence was loud. It gave him time to really process the magnitude of what had happened. He had been a part of history. The Grand National Tour wasn't just another series of concerts. It was a cultural shift, and Kida's DNA was woven into the fabric of it. He shared stories of the late-night talks, the advice he got from the veterans on the road, and the moments of doubt that he had to fight through. Yeah, even Kida the Great has moments where he wonders if he's doing enough. That's the human side of the story that people rarely see. They see the perfect performance, but they don't see the ice packs on the knees or the mental fatigue of trying to stay sharp 24/7. But Kida embraced the grind. He loved the struggle because he knew it was the price of admission for the greatness he was chasing. In his message to Kendrick, you could feel the sincerity. It wasn't a PR stunt. It was a young king showing respect to an established king. He thanked him for the platform, for the trust, and for the chance to show the world what Sacramento movement looks like. He acknowledged that Kendrick didn't have to pick him, but the fact that he did meant everything. It was a brotherhood forged in the fires of a world tour, and that's a bond that doesn't just go away when the trucks are loaded up. Looking forward, Kida isn't slowing down. If anything, the tour gave him a second wind. He's seen the top, and now he wants to build his own mountain. He's taking everything he learned from Kendrick, the discipline, the storytelling, the raw honesty, and he's pumping it into his own projects. He's teaching the next generation that you don't have to change your soul to fit into the industry. You just have to make your soul so big that the industry has no choice but to make room for you. The impact of Kida being on that tour is still rippling through the dance community. It's a reminder that the art of movement is just as powerful as the art of the word. When Kendrick was rapping about the struggles and the triumphs of the Black experience, Kida was right there, giving those words bones and muscles. He was the physical manifestation of the music. And as he continues his journey, he carries that grand national energy with him. He's no longer just a dancer from the streets. He's a global ambassador for the hustle. So when you see Kida the Great now, don't just see a guy with fast feet. See a guy who took an opportunity and turned it into a masterclass. See a guy who stayed humble enough to learn and hungry enough to lead. The Grand National Tour might be over, but for Leon Burns, the real show is just beginning. He's proved he can dance with the best, and now he's ready to show the world that he's in a league of his own. The streets are watching, the world is waiting, and Kida is just getting started, moving to a rhythm that only he can hear, but the whole world is starting to feel. Every step he takes now has a different weight to it. It's like he's walking on air, but his footprints are leaving deep marks in the concrete. That's what happens when you've been through the fire of a major tour. You come out tempered, stronger, and more focused. Kida's story isn't just about dance, it's about the power of saying yes to your own potential. It's about what happens when you stop waiting for permission and start creating your own path. Kendrick Lamar gave him the stage, but Kida brought the light. And that light is shining brighter than ever, reflecting off the shiny floors of the arenas and the gritty pavement of the neighborhoods he calls home. The journey from Sacramento to the Grand National Stage is a long one, but for Kida the Great, it was exactly the distance he needed to travel to find out who he really was. And if you ask him today, he'll tell you he's just a kid who loves to move, but the world knows he's much more than that. He's a testament to the grind, a hero to the street, and a dancer who turned a moment into a movement. Would you like me to dive deeper into the specific dance styles Kida utilized during the tour to match Kendrick's various tracks? This story is far from over, and the truth is still unfolding. I want to hear what you think. Drop your take in the comments. And if you don't want to miss the next twist, hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss a second of what's coming next.